Yeah, I know. It's been crazy, 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 crazy. Just very, very frustrating. I know that it finally started working, and everything's still pretty slow. All right, Julie, give me a mic check because we're already started.
Mic check. 1, 2.
Do it again, please.
Mic check. 1, 2.
All
Mic
right,
check.
I don't
2.
see Kelly, which is kind of sad.
We're not getting Kelly.
I don't know. Supposed to. That noise again. Yeah, that's at work. So how did you stop that noise in your microphone the other day?
I just
Wow, it just went way loud again. You just did you you know how remember last time it was like really loud and then it got quiet?
Yeah.
And then it got it's got that little bit of staticky.
I just unplugged this thing. I unplugged it and replugged it back in.
All right, do that again. Please.
Why does it keep doing that?
I don't know, but we're going to have to maybe this weekend figure that out. We are live. We should be live everywhere. Should be being the opportune word.
Should be.
Wow, that's loud. Holy cats.
Was it loud?
Yeah, really loud.
Sorry. How about now? Is that better?
Let me talk to you about that later, Chin. That's not a bad idea. Go ahead, Julie.
Is that better?
Yes, that's better. Hold on a second.
Do you still hear the noise?
No. Give me a check.
Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check.
That's good. It's a tiny, tiny bit, but it's not bad. Yes, we'll definitely talk about that trend because Jacob did very well in the podcast. So, all right, can you monitor Facebook for me? Facebook Live, and I'll do the YouTube Live. Right.
We're rocking body man.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll be fine, Trent. I'm sure. I'm doing like an episode almost every day this week, trying to get everybody in here, and just trying to give everyone some time to be on the show. All right, I need to get to.
I really seriously thought you said, Trin, it's great cleavage.
Did I say that?
No, Trin. What Trin wrote. I thought, I'm like, wait. Listen, Trin. Okay, you're a married woman.
We got more hate. What's up, Big E?
We got hate?
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right, Dexter. We'll try to hold out a little bit longer. I don't know what happened to Kelly.
Yeah, what up, everybody in Facebook Live?
All right, give me some Facebook Live shout-outs here.
All right, we got
people in there.
We got Thomas, Alyssa.
Are you watching that now?
Yeah, Armani, Ray, Robert, Mama Cheryl. Mama Cheryl said Trin gets it from her mama. Well, okay then. That's true. They hate us because they ain't us.
So far in the YouTube, we have Big E and we have Dexter. Dexter says, give me 15 minutes before you start hitting the shower. I'll try to hold out a little bit longer. Okay. All right, Samantha's here. Hey. That's awesome. A lot of activity on Facebook, which I'm really, really happy about. Thank you guys so much for all the comments. We're going to share some of those on this particular episode, which is there's James. Hey, James Wilcox, who gave me a really cool theory today. And unfortunately, I'm not so good with the theories. So I passed it on to Andrea, and she's going to work on that. And she's going to break it down. I'm probably going to share it either on this episode or when I have her back on One or the other. I just wanted to give you credit for that. Because that was a lot of good information, and it's just above my pay grade. I mean, I love the Game of Thrones, but as a lot of the hate that I get on the iTunes and the different reviews, I'm not an expert. That's not my superpower.
Is it like really bad hate?
No, just a normal bull crap. People complaining about stuff that doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous.
About stuff we say.
Just remember, nobody kicks a dead dog.
There's also another saying. If you see a turtle on a fence post, it didn't get there by accident.
That's good. I never heard that one before. That's a good one. But like Trin said, they hate us because they ain't us. Yeah. Who else is in Facebook? Any more comments?
I agree, Alyssa. Those people do suck because they just do.
Yeah, it's you get used to it. I mean, shit happens. People are going to complain. No, that's good. That's definitely good. All right. We're going to actually start the official podcast in just a minute. Yeah, that's true, Big E. We'll talk about that. We'll try to get that in on this episode, that people are butthurt because this past episode debunked all their theories. And you're right, Samantha. The hate is real. It's funny because, and we're not recording the podcast part yet. We're just kind of chatting like pre-show. And you kind of put yourself out there and you hope that people are going to appreciate what you do, because you do give up a lot of time. For every hour that I'm not here, I'm giving up time either with my family or you know what I mean? We're doing other things. And I'm sure you know how that works.
Oh, thanks, Alyssa. That's much appreciated. She says, I listen to quite a few Game of Thrones podcasts, and I love you guys the most. Hi, Chris. That's Chris awesome. Holmes. What's up, brother?
Hey. How you doing? We try to we really do try our best. I mean,
also, can we all just have a moment of silence for Peter Mayhem?
Oh my God, right?
Chewbacca.
Oh my God.
Like I can't. I can't. We lose Princess Leia and now Chewbacca. It's so much. But
and Roger Moore.
Yeah. Hey, when Chris and I went to I think we were at Philadelphia Wizard Con.
Yeah, which I don't think it's called Wizard Con anymore. I think
I think they call it Philly Comic Con now.
No, I think it's called it doesn't matter. It's not. I don't think it's Wizard Con anymore.
So Peter Mayhem was there. And he was doing like a meet and greet and stuff like that. And the coolest thing about Peter Mayhem was he had because Peter Mayhem's he's like 7 foot tall. He was like really, really tall, like this huge guy. And he had a cane and it was a lightsaber. Like it was the way his cane was designed. It was to look like a lightsaber. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah, it was a really cool. Yeah. And he's so tall, and when he was leaning on it, it was really bending. Yeah. So that must not have been his everyday driver cane.
No.
But God, he was tall.
Yeah, he was. He was a big dude.
Hey, Elizabeth and Big Bad Brad in Get Vocal. We're just doing a little pre-chat, chit-chat before we get started.
Eric G says the butthurt appears to be the book readers who, if all their prophecies don't come true, then they hate the series. I've read many things on how since they passed the books, the show has gone way downhill.
Well, we can read that on the we'll save Game of Thrones specific for when we record. John Surback says, Julie, his last name was Mayhew.
Oh, Mayhew. You're right. I'm sorry. My apologies. I always pronounce it wrong.
That's okay.
Sorry. My apologies, Peter.
That was John. It said that, John Surback. Let's see. Hello, Ricky. And of course, hello, John. I had to see a lot of faces popping in here tonight. We're about to start the actual recording part in just a minute.
Any word from Kelly?
Mm-mm. John's coming on. So we're going to start in just a minute. And this is just another special bonus episode. A couple things. I know that I've gotten a lot of complaints that in the beginning of the podcast, we do a lot of... Oh, hey, Terrence. How are you? in the beginning of the podcast, I get a lot of complaints that I do like a 5-minute spiel on how to find us and stuff. And there's a lot of other stuff I could announce. So I figured, this is kind of that more of an open forum. And I'm really curious to see what the Thronies are thinking about, series season 8 in general.
Alyssa, he's on his way. He's Canadian, so he runs on Canadian time.
Yeah. Yeah, John Survey. Sorry, I didn't want you to read that. Just wanted to let you know. Oh, that's okay, John.
No, thank you, John, because you're right. I've always mispronounced his last name, and I so apologize for that. I don't ever mean to disrespect Peter or anybody.
Here's a good example, though. When somebody says, "Hey, this is how you say it," that's awesome because that helps us.
Yeah.
When people put it on iTunes that our show sucks because we mispronounced the name, that's not cool.
Trust me, I run a hockey podcast. Some of those names are really fucking hard to say.
The other thing that gets me, and we'll just do this in the pre-chat so you guys get a bonus, is when people kind of call you out and they'll say, "Hey, Chris, your voice sucks. Here's 2 stars out of 5." And I don't think that's really a fair way to judge the whole podcast. If you have a problem, I'd rather have you email us at behindtheironthrone@gmail.com and say, "Hey, your voice sucks," than to put it onto, iTunes or something. Because it's just not necessary. If you don't like the show and you give it 2 stars and say, "I just don't like the show," that's fine. That's personal opinion. But, I don't think it's right to call people out like that. It's just not, it's not cool. I have pretty thick skin, so it is what it is. But it does hurt when you put yourself out there. All right.
You're right, Thomas. People do suck. Cameron, you're right. That is rude.
I like people. It's just that it's frustrating as all. Like, I'm a people guy. I like people. Otherwise, I wouldn't be podcasting. All right, John, give me a mic check so we can get rolling.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Wow, what the hell was that banging noise?
Don't worry, everything's good.
All right, try not to bang.
Yeah.
You're right, Ricky. And we're going to talk about that in the show. All right, so John.
Oh boy.
Mute your microphone.
Damn Canadians.
John, when you're not talking, just because you have a lot of background noise slipping in.
Okay.
Thank you. And banging, like, I'm not trying to nitpick you, but every time you put your mug down, it vibrates into the microphone. And I hear sirens. Okay, now give me a mic check, please.
Check 1 2 1 2.
And one more.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Okay. Yeah, it did sound like you hit a gong. Give haters any of your energy. It's not. James says, "Don't give haters any of your energy. If it's not constructive criticism, it's not worth listening to." You're right. Absolutely. All right. I just got to adjust John's audio and we'll get fired up.
Chris, did you see what Big Bad Brad said?
I'm sorry. I did not.
And get vocal?
Yes. Oh, I can. Let's see. Okay. Let me see. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Big Bad Brad. You get a gold star. Oh, that's awesome. I did not know they fixed that. I love Get Vocal, by the way. I'm just saying. And we're about ready to look for a new podcast host.
Cameron said, "Slam your mug down again like the hound. Slam it, John. Be a man."
Be a man.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, John, give me a mic check one more time because you were coming a little hot.
Check 1 2 1 2.
And Julie?
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
And John?
Check 1 2 1 2.
All right, not too bad.
Great I noticed that when I listened to the episode, the one we did right after the show, not the one we did with Andrea, but the one where we were all talking about the episode 3, I was like way louder than everybody else.
Yeah, you're a little bit better now.
That kind of what it felt like to me. Sorry about that, everybody.
Well, it happens.
Eat the fucking chickens, John. All the fucking chickens in the room.
Okay, you guys ready?
Oh, Cameron, you're funny.
All right, 211.
I love chickens.
Just remember, if you get really loud, like if you get really passionate, try to not yell because for some reason you're really loud, your microphone, and I cannot control your mic. I can only affect you and Julie, and if I lower you both, then Julie's going to sound quieter.
Which a lot of people would probably be happy about.
Well,
you know I love you guys. I love the B-Tit Army.
Or you die.
I love everyone.
yeah, he can't actually control the volume too much on his because he's just connected. Like he doesn't have a mixer or anything.
Contains explicit language and spoilers.
Although he could turn his
Goats in the house. What's up, goat?
Nice, Elizabeth. B-Tit forever.
Your unofficial
Goats in the
Game of
house?
Thrones podcast.
Goats in the house.
Nice. Goat.
Just out of curiosity, does everybody like our intro music? That's pretty banging shit, right?
Ask that when I
It
introduce.
is.
That's a good question.
But I want to add the whip noise from
I think time you appear, we should have a gong, just cause.
no, I was at the Ice and Fire. I was using the whip.
Well, let's
That the
explain
guy
that.
had-
Let's
Sorry.
explain the
Rack
show to
that
explain
whip.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All right, Dexter, you're good, buddy. You just came back in the nick of time. All right, here we go. Careful of your background noise. If you think you're going to have noise, mute your mics, or I'll mute you.
Cameron says, John, put a sock over your mic. It'll muffle some of the noise. Just don't use the crusty one.
Okay.
Cameron's on fire right now.
Yeah. Say that's awesome. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Well, hello, Thronies. Welcome back to episode 212. This is May 2nd, 2019. And I'm your host, Chris Gray, and I'm joined tonight by a great panel of Game of Thrones enthusiasts. Starting from my left to my right, you know him, you love him. He's known as the King of the North. He's Lord Duckdarian, King of the Wicker People, Cracker of the Sacred Whip of Crazy. What's up, pal?
I'm doing good, Chris. I'm doing good. I finally recovered from the Ice and Fire Con, so I'm ready to go.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit about Ice and Fire Con tonight because this is a total bonus episode, and we can talk about whatever we want. We also want to make sure we get in our audience's feedback, and Julie is covering the Facebook. I'm keeping an eye on the YouTube, and I'll also trying to keep an eye on the Get Vocal, and we'll try to help each other out.
I can do the Get Vocal too, Chris.
Okay, but I may need you to look at some of those awesome posts that you made today.
Awesome.
I want to read
Sure.
some of those comments because some of those were pretty intense. So I think we should definitely read some of those because people took the time to write on our Facebook page. And, you know, unlike other podcasts, unlike other Facebook pages, we don't just try to comment to your Facebook or like your post. We also want you to be heard by a huge audience of people that love the Game of Thrones. And, of course, hashtag BTitForever podcast. And, of course, next we have my sister, Julie Gray, host of the Hockey Hour. What is this, kiddo?
What's up, everybody? My Valyrian sterile hockey stick is still intact, and I killed a couple of White Walkers with it. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hashtag winning.
Winning.
Or should I say twinning, John?
Let's not.
At the Ice and Fire convention we just came back from in 2019, this just past one here, they had a tournament. And, you know, there's a melee tournament. There is jousting as well. And there was a whole bunch of guys there that were representing House Frey. And they were really fucking with John.
Is there anybody left?
he loves House Stark, right? So he's wearing his Stark sweater. And
Oh, boy.
John, you took it very seriously, didn't you? I mean, you were out to win.
No, it may seem like I'm serious, but like I told Brian, who was like kind of like the head Frey, it was all I was feeding off them. Like I was doing it back and forth. You know, I was there to have fun. So it was very fun. I was no point. Even me and Brian were laughing about it afterwards.
Oh, he's
gonna be even
funny.
Huh?
Brian,
He's
was
the best.
Funny, yeah.
We're gonna do even bigger next year. Like he's coming even more Freys. Apparently, he's gonna.
James
he's gonna
Fagan
have-
saw the video. John, you're a beast.
And he goes, next year, he goes, the judges are going to be Freys. And I said, I'm coming Stark heavy next year. So it was fun. I had so much fun.
If you are not entirely sure what we're talking about, go to facebook.com/Behind the Iron Throne. And on our Facebook page, not only are there awesome posts about everything Game of Thrones related, and of course on our group BTIT, just ask to join and we'll get you in there. There's a video of John doing melee combat and also doing the joust. And he did pretty good. I mean, but it was funny. There were so many awesome things to see and do there. I hope everyone has had a chance to see that. Also, we are on Facebook Live right now. Of course, if you're listening to the podcast afterwards, we're on Facebook Live. We're on BehindTheIronThrone.tv, our YouTube channel, and we're on GetVokal.com, where you can also be in the chat there as well. We have 3 different platforms. I also want to mention real quick before we get totally started, the next episode where we're going to record is going to be, the next official episode, unless I get one of my guests that I want to get on the podcast, depending on their schedule, will be May 6, 2019. That's the Monday after the next episode is released. So, if you haven't seen it at that point, the latest episode, there will be spoilers. Do not come in. And of course, if you're listening now, we're going to be talking about season 8, episode 1, 2, and 3. There are spoilers. If you haven't seen it yet, you might want to get the hell out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. Not yet, so that's good.
Unless you were watching the Billboard Music Awards last night, because Drake totally gave away the ending of episode 3. Didn't get no fucks given. I'm like,
yeah.
Don't give us hate mail. We warn you, we're spoiling.
No hate. And also, I'm going to lose my train of thought. What the heck was I going to say?
Sorry, Chris.
Crap. A Hipcast. So we use Hipcast for our media hosts, and some of you know the podcast has been downloading really slow, and you might get like episode 210 or 29 like randomly. Guys, I'm so very sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. I've been emailing the company, begging them to get it fixed. I may be switching my podcast hosts. I don't know. I'm very disappointed. I'm so sorry that you haven't gotten the podcast promptly. This is why it's important to be a part of our Facebook community or like our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, because that way you don't miss the content that we make. That being said, John, you wanted to say something? Hit it up, pal.
Oh, go back to Ice and Fire Con. Don't just look at that. I've uploaded like about 500 something pictures. Check that out. And in I think probably about a month, they're going to release Ice and Fire Con will release the musical on the YouTube. And Game of Thrones and musical they do such a great job. It's so entertaining. It's so funny. You need to check it out. It's essentially like them going through the whole story, but through a musical. And it's one of the funnest stuff ever. You guys got to check it out.
Yeah. Now, right now, if you're watching live, I'm holding up the Ice and Fire Con 7th edition, because it was 7th year bag. It's black and red Ice and Fire Con, and it looks really cool. It's a nice bag to carry your stuff in. And I didn't get a chance to share this on any other podcast because I wanted to try to keep it as focused on the episodes as possible. But this is kind of a fun place. And, little pamphlet right here, which looks good. Tara and her team just do a fantastic job. But this is a really big thank you that I haven't really got a chance to do. And John gave me a Canadian mug, and he gave me 2 Canadian dolls for my son, which he loves, little stuffed animals. So thank you so much, John. And I also wanted to thank Trin and her husband, Jacob, for giving me this. They did the silent auction that's at the convention, and they have all kinds of really cool stuff there. And this is a House Lannister. Hold on. Let me take the lid off. This is a House Lannister drinking flask. Woo! It almost fell out all over the place. With stainless steel shot glass and the stainless steel, what do you call those flask things? It's just a flask. It's House Lannister. It says, I drink it, I know things, and it's got leather on it. It's really, really awesome. So, Trin and Jacob, you guys are fucking awesome. Thank you so much.
And Chris got me this. You guys can look
look at that.
Awesome. Amazing.
That's an awesome cup. That's like, the obviously you guys know the Game of Thrones, I'm having a mental moment. The chair.
The throne.
The throne is made out of swords, swords that Balerion the Dread, flamed and melted. And that's what the glass that he has one that looks like that. And all the swords on it was pretty cool. All right, we got a lot of people here in the chat, so I want to give a couple of shout outs. Mag, Sam, Samantha, I'm sorry, Dexter, James, Big E, Ricky. We have John, Terrence. Let's see, who am I missing here? And I got Dexter. Yeah, that's pretty much everyone right now in the YouTube live. You guys are awesome. If you have any comments, any kind of conversations you want to start, go ahead and throw them in there. While you're thinking of those or whatever, we're going to read some stuff off Facebook. Julie, who's in Facebook?
We've got General Goat.
Yeah, hey, Goat.
We've got James. We've got George. We've got Alyssa. And Chris, Alyssa wanted me to let you know that she has gotten the podcast. She's good now. So she wanted to let you know that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Eric G. We've got Rose. We've got Robert. We've got a whole bunch of people. We've got Cameron. Cameron is on fire today, by the way.
Awesome. That's what
Pamela,
we like.
Thomas, Robert, I think I said that already, but Chris and Mama Cheryl and Ray and Armani.
Hey, Mama
everybody's
Cheryl,
in this
Armani.
channel. We got a lot of stuff they want to talk about for the next couple episodes. So
Okay.
If you want me to start in on that, and maybe John, if you want to lead us off.
On Get Vocal, we have Elizabeth. We have Big Bad Brad. I don't know if he's here still, but he was jumping in and out. And let's
Kyle.
see who else is here. And Kyle, yay. We're on fire
Jeremy.
tonight.
Oh, I missed Jeremy and Steven and Randall.
All right, awesome. All right, so the community has spoken, and you guys want to talk about some stuff for the next episode. Is that what you're saying, Jules?
It looks like so. Goat is the one who started it off.
Okay.
So let me give you kind of a couple of things before we dive into it, right?
Okay.
So Goat says, did any of you guys watch Jimmy Kimmel last night, referring to Wednesday night, May the 1st? Evidently, the actress who plays Danny was on, and she said episode 5.
Amelia Clark.
Episode 5 is crazier than Sunday night's episode. Is something major coming? And then Eric G said it's obviously going to be the war in King's Landing. It's Miguel Sapper. I cannot even say that name, but it's a big one. And it's going to be well lit, right? So then Robert says Kit Harington stated that episode 4 is one of his favorites. So let's talk about it.
Well, I thought Amelia Clark also said that episode 5 was going to be off the hook. And real quick, Sabrina, thank you so much. She says in the YouTube chat, guys, make sure to give the podcast the 5 stars it deserves. Awesome. Terrence says John was completely underrated in episode 3. And you know what? I agree, Terrence, because I underrated him as well. James says Miguel did the Battle of the Bastards and the other big war episodes.
He did episode 3.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
What you're saying? Okay.
So then we kind of figured 5 was going to be the Battle of King's Landing, though.
Yeah.
Dexter says, so are D&D following the bullet points given to them from George R. R. Martin? That's going to be, we'll talk about it in a second. Let's finish what you guys are talking about, and we'll try to come back to you, Dexter. And we'll try to come back to Sam as well. So go ahead, Joel. Let's finish what you were talking about because I'm jumping all over the place.
So the speculation over here on Facebook is that and Goat says, no, I'm talking like something huge, that Danny's going down or John's going down. Tyrion, King's Landing went down I think he meant Winterfell went down too easy. So something at this point, no one's guessed. So I guess we pontificate on this. Yes, I used a big word again. But let's think about this for a second. So we know the director that did last week's episode is directing episode 5. So we know, okay, that probably means a battle. But the fact that
I think James is saying he directed the 2 big war episodes last season as well.
Right. Yeah. So that would make sense given, we just came off of a big episode for a war and a battle rather. And now we're about to get the final battle as Danny says in the trailer. So what do we make of what Amelia Clark says and then what Kit Harington says? So episode 4, he says is his favorite, or I think something to that nature. But then Amelia Clark says that episode 5 is bigger than what we just witnessed. So let's speculate. Let's talk about it.
You want to go first, John?
Yeah. So just to come off what you said, Julie, I did post something on our Facebook at Behind the Iron Throne about Amelia Clark saying is going to be huge. You're going to need like a big TV. Apparently, that's one thing. Check it out. I think for like based on the trailer, we see ships. So I think they're set sailing to. They're going to go to King's Landing. Obviously, five's a big battle. I talked with Andrea after you guys went off the air, and we both we were talking, and we think that Cersei is going to kidnap Sansa. Because right now there's a big hole in Winterfell. There's that she's going to send Euron Greyjoy to Winterfell, kidnap Sansa, and that's going to maybe will get Jon to give himself up for Sansa, because we see in set photos Jon is walking side by side with Cersei. We also know that there's the dragon pit. We're going to get a dragon pit scene with a lot. I don't know if you guys covered this on Tuesday.
No, we weren't really talking too much about the leaked photos because I feel like it's kind of spoilerish.
There is a dragon pit scene with a lot of the actors, so that could be Tyrion's trial. So all that it's going to be. I mean,
are they going to have enough time for all this?
Hold on. Keep in mind, everyone, we're just speculating.
There's no spoilers here.
We don't know anything.
As far as we know,
future, as far as we know,
these could be fake set photos, right? Like that could
which they've done in the past.
Okay, yeah. Let me kind of bounce off what John said here. A lot of people are thinking it might not work in the show because of the traveling of time. So what I'm thinking is, and I kind of agree with you came up with on Monday's episode, John, that the next episode 4, is going to be the recovery, the plan, and moving down south. Right now it's time to move on to the next battle. Episode 5, I'm thinking, is going to be, and I agree, Randy, not much time left for new plots. I agree. Number 5 is probably going to be the big Dukaroo for Westeros, with Cersei and what's going on down there. And I think that episode 6 is going to be the wrap up and some type of betrayal type ending that leads us to a oh shit ending. What the hell was that?
I swear to God, if we get a Sopranos ending, I'm going to be pissed.
I don't think we're going to get that. I think it's going to be something, I don't know. I could speculate all day long and I'm just going to sound like a complete idiot.
Everything we've speculated on has been wrong.
Well, anything that I have speculated always am wrong. So there's that. I don't know what you think, kid, what's going to happen. And I'm keeping it very basic because I really want to see what the audience says.
Well, I mean, I can't really, everything that I thought was going to happen. I mean, I was convinced that Jorah Mormont wasn't going to die in the last episode. I thought the symbolicism of him getting Sam's sword, I just thought, no, they can't do that. But then it made sense when you go back and watch it. And listen, that is a gut-wrenching scene when Dany is on the ground crying with him, but whatever. But I think, and a lot of guys, a lot of the folks in Facebook are talking about what Kit Harington said about episode 4. I think, John, you and I kind of basically said on Monday night when we talked after this episode that we think that this is going to be kind of like a filler, like they're going to recharge their batteries.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more significant than we think. If Kit Harington is saying that this is like his favorite episode, like there's got to be something important in this. Now, we've been speculating. We talked about it. Trin and I spoke about it when we did the launch coming into the season. We have a feeling that Dany and Jon are going to get married. They're going to have to come to an agreement and something. Maybe this is the episode where it happens.
I want to give a big shout out to Kente, who's in Get Vocal right now from Indie Radio Podcast. Hello, my friend. He says, Melisandre is still hot, 1,000 years old. In the chat on YouTube, we have Randy B saying they are trying hard to surprise us. D&D more or less said so after the last show. James Wilcox says they are going through character by character, closing their arcs. And Terrence said David Nutter did Red Wedding, so it could be crazy for sure.
Well, So Robert Martin in Facebook, he quotes what Kit Harington says.
Okay,
and
good.
Thank you, Robert, for doing that, because I couldn't click on the link. I love you for that.
Or episode 4, that is.
Yeah.
Terrence, right, episode 4. Okay.
So Robert says, and this is the quote from Kit Harington, in the Entertainment Weekly that he did the interview with. One of my favorite episodes is 4 because the characters have seemingly got what they needed. He's saying that roughly the 20 main characters that are still gathered at Winterfell, right? The world is safe now. They're celebrating and saying goodbye to lost friends. But as an audience, you're going, this is only episode 4. Something's going to happen. And that's the cool thing, because I think the characters are aware of this as well. There's something twisted and uncomfortable about it. So that's pretty telling. Like, maybe it is the bridge to the next chapter.
Kente said David Nutter was a great director for X-Files.
Yes, he was. X-Files was a great show.
So if anybody wants to comment on the on that quote from Kit Harington, and who shared that, Julie?
That was Robert Martin over on our Facebook channel.
Thank you so much, Robert. John?
So I rewatched the trailer just now, and so we see a bunch of people coming to King's Landing with Cersei overlooking everyone. We see Winterfell's is ruins, obviously. There's the Unsullieds marching. Daenerys says, we won the... I was on mute, but I think she says, we won the Great War. Now let's win the last war. We see Daenerys' ships with the Targaryen sigil. And we see a dragon going over one of the ships. So...
Well, Eric G also has a conspiracy. He thinks, this is his conspiracy theory.
Okay.
That Dario Naharis, right? That's how you say it, Naharis? Naharo, or whatever it is. And the Second Sons may have infiltrated the Golden Company, and they will turn on the Lannister army when the war starts.
John?
Well, we talked about, I actually mentioned that with Andrea Tuesday after the show. I mean, the only problem with that is only 3,000 Second Sons, and there's 20,000 Golden Company. So
yeah, but if they're like silent assassins, they could do it very quickly.
Yeah. If it's like that, where they're like, and maybe like they attack from behind, I can see something like that. I still think Varys has got something up his sleeves. He's been very quiet so far this season. He hasn't said much. He only talked in episode 1. I think he's got something up his sleeve. Varys is too smart. He's very calculating in his way.
To comment on what you guys are saying, Dexter says easier to poison the provisions. And I see you guys, all your messages, and I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. If you comment and it's not directly related to what we're talking about, and I don't read it, I'll try to work it in when I can. So, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves too. I'll try to get to whatever I can. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to comment on the Golden Company thing. I could see Dario showing up to help out Dany and company, but I don't see the Golden Company being infiltrated by the Second Sons. However, I think there was a Facebook post that you might have posted, John. It was an article saying, what if the Golden Company were to turn against Cersei? And a lot of people in that, I don't know if you have that up on Facebook or not, John, that particular conversation, but a lot of people agreed that the Golden Company is not going to turn. They're the Golden Company. If they were to turn, that would kind of ruin their reputation, right? So they're not just going to turn.
Well, let me ask this question. Would the Golden Company, I understand they're sellswords, they're in it for the money, but if they're standing there in King's Landing, now, granted, we know that Dany's forces are depleted. She's got no Dothraki left, and I don't even think she has half of her Unsullied left. But let's say that they do show up at King's Landing and start this great giant war for the Iron Throne, and the Golden Company see dragons. I mean, do they go, yeah, fuck this, we're out? They have to think, they're all there to fight for the money, but you can't really take love with the money if you're dead. So, like, do they weigh their options and like split? Like, where does that ends go? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think she's going to use more of her dragons in the battle, because she, like you said, I would say, at best guess, half the Unsullied is left. That leaves about 4,000 men,
Yeah.
right? Well, let's just hypothetical. There's half the Unsullied, and there's maybe half the Vale left. So they're overwhelmingly outnumbered. Now you got 20,000 Golden Company. The Lannisters probably have half their men because of Cersei burning like a shitload of them.
But let me ask this question, John.
I got something here that you might like.
Now follow my train of thought here with this one. She does have Lannister army, but when they come over the ridge and they see that Jaime Lannister has now sworn fealty to, I guess, Winterfell or to Dany, do the Lannister army go, that's our guy? Like, Cersei's, like, to them, she's a little nutty. Do they go, Jaime's led us in battle and he's been, the best we've had, I mean, do they change over? Because they're completely outnumbered. They're fucked.
John, if you want to answer that comment, and I got a couple of things in the chat I want to read, and a post by our friend Andrea Triggs.
Technically, Jaime's still Lord of Castle Rock, am I right?
He should be, unless she took it away from him, but we didn't see that.
We don't know. That could be off screen.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, Julie. I think they could be like, this is Jaime Lannister. He's the last male Lannister, or this obviously with Tyrion, but I don't think they'll fight for him. Maybe they'll join his side once they see the dragons. They fought the dragons before. They'll be like, whoa, wait a second. We fought these already. And I know they have a scorpion, but I can't see them using the scorpion again and being successful.
All right. So Kente says she hired a hitman for him and for her Tyrion. So there's that. For Jaime. In the YouTube chat, we have James saying, I do believe the Golden Company is Blackfire. And you're right. I don't know. They don't really mention that in the show, but in the books for sure. And I got something else to go with that as well. Big E says, Cersei and Qyburn will Scorpion ballistas ready for the dragons. Randy B says, a Blackfire brother started the Golden Company, I think. And you are correct. I think I have those notes over here too, so we'll just check that out as well. I don't have my book expert here, so if I got it wrong, send your hate mail to someone else who cares. Randy B says, wait, I don't want to miss any comments here. Okay, so James says, they're going to turn on Cersei if it comes down to it. It could be someone in the Golden Company. Young Griff in the books could be the third head of the dragon. Now, that could possibly be, but I don't think we're going to see that in the show, because obviously we haven't gotten Young Griff, and I don't think they have time to introduce that with only a few episodes.
They have literally no time to introduce anybody new.
Randy B says the Iron Bank is funding. This is very important. Is actually funding the Golden Company right through Cersei. But he goes on to say, or he or she, I don't know who, if it's a boy or a girl. I'm sorry, Randy. Just let me know. Cersei settled their debt right before that. What's keeping them from going to the winning side? James says, I think. Oh, go ahead, John. Go.
No, sorry. If you want, there's a great YouTube video I just watched today on the Iron Bank debt or something, and it goes into that. So check it out.
If you could share it on the page at some point, that would be awesome.
I'll put it up when we get done.
All right, good. That way they can just go to our Facebook and see it. They don't have to go try and search all over YouTube. James says, I think Illyrio is Blackfire and maybe Varys too, and I think Young Griff is his son. Ilario / Cheesemonger. Yeah, I agree with that book-wise, for sure.
Not show-wise.
But not show-wise, unfortunately. Let's see. Next we have Biggie says, I think Bronn will tell Jaime and Tyrion that Cersei paid him to kill them both, and he will show them the crossbow. I could see that. James says, the Golden Company was made to get these disgruntled and banished knights back on the Iron Throne. Dexter says, Aegor Bittersteel Rivers is the founder of the Golden Company, one of Aegon One of Aegon, shit, I don't know which Roman numeral that one is. Great Bastards. Fuck, that's 5, I think. I don't remember. Could be long game they are playing, says James. Yeah, that's true as well. Now, over here, because this is part of the same conversation, I really want to give Andrea some credit here. Andrea posted this about 4 hours ago on our Facebook page. Here's a strange thought I was having while reading an awesome article I found at IndieWire.com. And this is on the Facebook page, so you guys can read also. On episode 4, sneak peek. So Cersei has the entire Golden Company on her side. She needs them in this war, especially after Dany slaughtered a hefty amount of the Lannister army. Here's the rub. So the Golden Company are Bravosi men. Arya is no one, trained in Bravos. Could the Golden Company commander we saw pledging his men to Cersei change his mind for a higher price to Tyrion? Possibly. Could he be swayed with a confrontation from a Bravosi-trained assassin? Something to think about. And there's a lot of different comments on here. And Rose said maybe the commander guy is no one. And they're talking about, what's the guy's name, John? Give me the guy's name. The commander of the company right now.
Strickland, Harry Strickland.
Sorry, there's so many different names. You guys can't give us bad reviews because we get this fucked up sometimes. Please don't.
Harry Strickland.
Robert. So Andrea also says later on in the comments to Rose, oh my God, if he's really Jaqen, that would be amazing. Really want to see Jaqen again before it's over, which would be interesting, but I don't see that, but I'm very
well. I've heard rumors that Jaqen Hagar is in this season.
He is.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, but that's what I've heard.
Can I post a question to everyone?
Yeah.
So, do you think the writers would give impossible odds twice to the good guys? Like, so they were against all odds against the Night King. Now they're against all odds against Cersei. Or do you think there'll be a way to balance it out?
Before you do that, when we were talking about that other comment, it's Aegon the Fourth, and I want to thank you, James, for that. I don't do Roman numerals anymore, so thank you so much for that correction. So go ahead, ask your question again, John. And yes, Get Vocal, we are paying attention. Sorry we didn't respond to that sooner, and I don't even know what your name is. Is that a fork?
I think it's a gear or like a wrench.
A wrench? So is your name Wrench? Is that the name, Wrench?
I don't know. It's just a emoji.
Okay, so what were you saying?
But yeah, so John, here's what I'll answer it. I'll start it anyway. I don't know if lightning will strike twice, if that makes sense. If we go based upon what we know, just let's go based upon what we know up to this point. Cersei's army, she has the Golden Company, she has the Lannisters, the Lannister army. They are fully fed and they are rested. Everybody in Winterfell, half of the Unsullied, let's just say half are gone. The entire Dothraki, gone. Most of the Winterfell troops, gone. If they do have enough Tully and the Vale, yeah, exactly. It's not going to be enough. Dorne, but it's not going to be enough. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get a crow or whatever down to Dorne quick enough so that they can get Dorne to come from the south, if they even would. I know that the gentleman who plays Bronn did an interview, and somebody actually reminded me in Facebook. He said that people are not going to like him at the end of this season. They're not going to like him. So that's some foreshadowing. He could just be saying it to kind of steer the attention away. Do you know what I mean? But I don't know if lightning will strike twice for Jon and Dany and the North. I can't see it happening. They are extremely depleted, and they have like zero to no food, and the dragons are starving. So that's a lot.
But we have the power of whatever D&D want to write, so they can change. It can blow our minds. A couple of comments on the YouTube, and I see, Gear, that you're making comments in the Get Vocal. And we're going to probably talk about that, about the cinematography in a minute. But I want to get caught up. Do you have anything on Facebook, Julie?
So yeah, we've got some speculation about the crossbow that Bronn has. Some are saying, like Jeremy says, Tyrion or Jaime are going to jump in front of it to save the other. Thoughts? And then somebody else said that possibly Bronn doesn't kill them, and then Tyrion takes the bow and kills Cersei, which like that's sweet poetic justice. Kills his dad on the shitter, and then kills his sister. That'd be epic.
Well, Randy B says,
it is
Bronn
Joffrey's,
is a favorite of mine. I have faith he will do right by Tyrion.
See, I don't know. I don't know if, because we know for a fact that the entire crew, the cast for this entire season had to like sign confidentiality agreements. Their spouses had to sign confidentiality agreements, their partners and whatever. So they could just be throwing shit out there to throw us off. They could just, I don't know. Like, it's so hard right now to be like, okay, this is what's going to happen. The only thing I think we can anticipate is that episode 4 is going to be the buffer. Like, we can say for certain that episode 4 is going to be, okay, Winterfell is trying to like honorably, dispose of the dead and all that stuff, and, honor the fallen and all that. And they're going to try to get their strength back up. They're going to try to do something. And then they're going to march to King's Landing, because, Dany right now, she don't care. She don't care that forces are depleted. She wants the Iron Throne. She needs to get rid of Cersei because,
John, you're going to go next. And thanks for putting that YouTube link up in the Get Vocal. And if you get a chance, put, I'll try to get this Facebook one in there. I don't know how I'm going to do that from here. But go ahead. Go with what you were saying.
So 2 things. Go back to what you said earlier, Julie. Cersei also has the Iron Fleet. We can't forget about Euron. Yep. But I think we're going to get a naval battle with Yara, because I don't think we're done with Yara Greyjoy yet.
Oh, Yara? Yeah, no, we're definitely not done with Yara.
And 2, you mentioned about people saying that they're going to hate Bronn. Like, is that what Bronn said?
The actor, and somebody gave it to me in chat, Jeremy Jerome. Is it Jerome Flynn? Thank you, Eric G. Appreciate you. He apparently gave an interview. I don't, and Eric G, if you can give me where it was, that he's not going to be very liked at the end.
Kyle agrees with you, John, about the ship battle.
Yeah. So I have a theory. I don't know if it's a prediction, but we all think that, a lot of us predict Dany's going to die, right? And that could be like the holy shit. And when you said that about Bronn, I'm thinking, what if Dany's using the dragon and he uses the scorpion, hits Drogon or whatever, and then she falls, and then she doesn't get killed right away, but that leads to her death. Because I do see that her burning the hole through the Red Keep, and I think I'm going back to season 2 when she has the big dream in the House of Undying. I think that's coming to real.
It's so funny, John. And this is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion with a lot of people. I don't see Dany dying. Not as clearly as everybody else does. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I can't see it as clearly as other people. Yeah, Chris.
Go back to what you were saying there, John, for a second, with that in the House of the Undying, that vision she has. And everyone assumed that we see that the Red Keep, the throne room, was all, we saw it busted and broken, but we all assumed that it was snow,
right?
In there, right?
Yeah. Well, that was been the dream. Yeah.
If it was snow, was that like Jon Snow, or was it actually ash
from
her dragons burning the shit out of everything?
It could be symbolic of Jon Snow taking the throne. It could be ash. I just think that to put that in season 2. They don't waste scenes. One thing about Game of Thrones, right? So if they put something in this show, it's gonna foreshadow something down the line.
Absolutely. And Trin and I talked about it leading into this season. How significant those dream sequences Danny had, they are why put them in if they didn't have significance?
Now James is saying, I'm not really sure she has to die either. I guess they're talking about Cersei or no, sorry, Danny.
Danny, yeah.
Biggie says Bran's vision about the dragons flying over King's Landing. And Randy says, I can see them killing all the dragons off again.
Well, yeah, so there is something on that too, Chris, on Facebook. Lilith brought it up, and I believe Robert and Goat and Alyssa, I think, did, and a bunch of others that said, do you think Qyburn puts poison on the arrowhead of the scorpion?
So even if it just scratches him.
Exactly.
That could very well be. What we've learned about Qyburn is that he's one crafty son of a bitch.
He is indeed.
I mean, he can look at a whore and be like, yep, she's got the pox. I mean, let's look at what he made out of the mountain.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
John, go.
I don't think. Here's a way. I'm going off the dragons dying. Not necessarily I think the dragons are dying. I think they just fly away. I think Danny dies and John lets them go and they just fly. We don't see them. They fly to Valeria and they just go away. And then that's it and then, because I could see them killing them off, but I think a better way I wouldn't leave the door open because they're not doing a past series, but them just flying away and just flying away and dying of age or whatever, or they go to Valeria or something like that could be a way.
Terrence says, so Bronn kills Tyrion. Danny goes crazy and burns up King's Landing. John has no choice but to fight her in a dragon-on-dragon battle.
I don't think Tyrion dies. Because I see. Here's the thing: I see Jaime and Cersei dying, and I don't see them killing off the Lannister line. So I
totally agree, Kyle.
I think Tyrion is going to be the last surviving Lannister.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't necessarily think. Okay. I don't think necessarily Cersei dies.
I think she dies.
I see. This is
who are you saying? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Cersei.
Danny, you said?
No, Cersei. I don't see right now. I don't see Danny dying, but I really don't see Cersei dying because you kept her alive for this whole thing. She has survived how much shit that has been thrown at her over whether it was self-inflicted or not.
Let's ask the audience.
Absolutely.
Because this show's supposed to be about them, guys. Does Cersei live? Yes or no? Post it up. While that's being said, James says it would be Ashai by the Shadow, John, where the dragons would end up going.
Yes, and I just watched a YouTube about the map of Game of Thrones. It's really interesting. They went like all over. They even went far. So
Robert says, repeat of his Monday comment. Tyrion lives. Last scene of the series, he finishes his joke.
Okay. Nice. Terrence says no. Cersei is not dying. No.
Yeah.
Randy B says, I like the dragons flying off. Biggie says Cersei is the big boss, so no.
Yeah, Goat agreed with you too, John, about that, about the dragons flying off. He said he had a valid point there.
James Wilcox says Cersei dies. Mag H says Cersei dies. Do you guys think, and I just want to throw this out there to the audience, what if Cersei did live, but she was trapped in a cell like she did to Septa Unella? Like she gets locked up in a cell, or like the Sand, what's his name's girlfriend, Ilaria Sand?
Yeah, Ilaria.
Yeah. Well,
if she was chained up and to like slowly die, or just they just feed her enough, like she's a prisoner.
That's a possibility. I mean, and Jeremy says Bronn. This is what he thinks. Bronn kills Tyrion, setting Jaime over the edge to kill Cersei. Ken says Cersei dies next episode. Ray says no, Cersei doesn't die. Alyssa says no. Ghost says Cersei dies for sure. And Lilith says at least I wish she will be alive. And Rose thinks that she wants Cersei to die.
Kyle from Get Vocal says Cersei dies from a brother or the mountain.
Now that's another thing. So we have a feeling that there is going to be a Clegane Bowl. Like it's kind of now set up that way because Sandor is alive, right? Does she get in the middle of that? Like there's 1,000 possibilities here.
Good, John.
I'll post a question to you guys and more importantly to the audience. And then I want to, if we have time, get to the Facebook stuff I posted. if there is, there's the rumors from set forwards. You got the Dragon Pit, could be Tyrion's trial. I'm thinking trial by combat. You got the mountain in one hand, and then Tyrion chooses the mountain. I mean, the Hound, and we get the Clegane Bowl like that. I want to get the audience opinion on that.
Why now?
So,
John,
hold on.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
We have more comments. Samantha says Cersei is mortally wounded, and Qyburn turns her into a Frankenstein-type monster. So that would be funny. Sabrina says, "Bye, Felicia Cersei." James says that would be Karma. Karma's a bitch. Randy, Dad should live if Dany dies. Terrence says, John, don't you think Dany becomes a mad queen? How does that happen in your mind? James says, that's what I've always kind of thought the Valonqar prophecy might be.
Yeah.
And Dexter said, I like that. So, John, you posted the question. Again, if you want to read that, just simplify your question so the audience can answer it easily.
Do you see a Clegane Bowl? I guess, do you see a Clegane Bowl, yes or no?
Okay, so, are you guys thinking there's going to be a Clegane Bowl? I'm saying there is.
I think it's going to be interweaved with the actual Battle of King's Landing. It's not going to be something separate.
In the meantime, while you guys are answering that, I'm trying to find a comment that was made here.
Well, I want to clarify because Ray in Facebook thought he wasn't sure what we were asking about Cersei, but he says Cersei dies for sure. He just wanted to clarify that. Robert says Cersei dies from crossbow shot from Tyrion, or Jaime is the Queen Slayer. Tom had said no more trial by combat. Danny's already going mad, in my opinion, Lilith says. And Andrea Trigg says, how about Qyburn inserts Dragonglass into Cersei as she's dying and she becomes the Night Queen?
That would really suck. The hell we just went through.
But the problem with that is, does Qyburn have magic? Because you kind of need the magic. The Children of Forest had magic. That's what allowed them to hit that guy.
Yeah, we don't know his lineage, though.
And what's Qyburn using? Science.
He's doing science.
Magic. So I just wanted to put this out there. Also, maybe we can find time to talk about it, Terrence. If we do, I'm sorry if we can't. Varys must have some role to play still. Is he truly for Dany? The talks he had with Illyrio and the comments Kinvara made to him about loyalty. Now, even in the show, you have Illyrio and Varys talking down in the lower levels where Arya kind of overheard.
Correct.
And we haven't seen that play out, right? Fully.
It hasn't.
Right?
Yeah, no. But I can answer that.
Okay.
The snake is loyal to the Targaryens. He always has been. He always will be. He will not turn his back on Dany. He's
also loyal to the realm, according to him.
That's what he says. But we know for certain that he is loyal to the Targaryens because of all the stuff he did to make sure Dany was protected to an extent in Essos. That's why Jorah Mormont was there to watch and protect her.
Ooh,
that was all set up. So for the snake, it is about the Targaryen line. That's what he has fought for the whole time.
Okay, James says that Cersei is the mad. I'm sorry, that was Sam that said that. James says Cersei gets killed by the Hound, the younger brother. Dexter says Cersei demands trial by combat after being captured and put on trial, just like Tyrion did. And Sabrina says yes. James says, I think there's a Clegane Bowl. Back to John's question.
Yeah, we do have a lot of that in Facebook too.
I think Cersei gets killed in the middle by the Hound, therefore fulfilling the prophecy of the Valonqar. Mag H, I agree with Julie. Clegane via battle. James saying he is for the realm, talking about Varys because that's what he said. I agree it will be. Randy says I agree it will be Clegane Bowl. He put in with the main battle, or it would be putting them with the main battle. Blackfire with Illyrio, says James. And Ricky says, I think something significant will happen below King's Landing. That's why it's in the intro.
I agree. I completely agree.
Wait, what do you got? Do you want to go, John, and then we get the Facebook comments in?
Yeah. I disagree. I agree with Julie. He's not for the realm. He's for the Targaryens. I said this earlier in a past episode. If he's truly for the realm, he would have released Ned Stark. and saved the realm from the War of the Five Kings. So I think he's for a Targaryen. I don't know show wise, but I know he's a Blackfire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know show wise, but I know in the books he's a Blackfire. Like
Welcome,
that's
Shayna.
so.
John,
that's all I
you
wanted
have
to say.
Get Vocal
Yes.
comment on. Now, real quick, if you're listening to the podcast, you can always watch us at getvocal.com, getvokl.com. Also, behindtheironthrone.tv. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. That's our YouTube channel, and facebook.com/Behind the Iron Throne.
So Kyle says trial by combat is a must. Trial of 7. Kyle also says just like from the Edge Knight book, and Kyle says was Varys loyal to the Mad King though?
To an extent, he was, yes. But once
Yeah,
the
well,
Mad
I thought he
King
was gonna know.
changed, he was loyal to Rhaegar. And he tried to save the once Rhaegar went down, and then he then made sure that the two young ones. I'm sorry, I cannot remember Dany's brother's name. It was Viserys. I can't remember his name, but he made sure that
Viserys,
he made sure those two escaped and went to Essos. So he was loyal to the Mad King to an extent until the Mad King started to go fucking massive crazy. So let me go over the Facebook stuff. Eric G says no Valonqar in the show. Lilith says, I think she's referring to no on the Clegane Bowl. Emily is saying yes to Clegane Bowl. Go to saying hell yes, Hound versus the Mountain. Emily also says, I think trial by combat could happen with the Hound volunteering on behalf of a Tyrion. Lilith says, fuck yeah, that would be awesome. Night Queen. So she's talking about the Cersei comment. Alyssa says science and magic, pretty fine line there, I think. And then Andrea poses a question. What does Varys know that we don't?
A lot.
Rose says trial by combat in Dragon Pit, ? Robert says Clegane Bowl equals yes, Hound dies defending Arya while finishing the mountain. Alyssa, why did he beat this in our heads about the realm? Which we'll go back to that. We'll talk about that too. I mean, he said it so many times. And then Alyssa says she agrees with me. They will fight in the main battle. No time to be separated when we talk about the Clegane Bowl. So it'll kind of be something, offside of it. You know what I mean? As it all is going on.
Ricky says Tyrion will sneak Jaime, Hound, and Arya under King's Landing during the battle. That's when the Hound and the Mountain fight. James says, I know there's no Valonqar on the show, but I know Dan and Dave will give the killer of Cersei a nod to the books by making it a younger brother or sister. And that's something we've talked about many times on this podcast. Even though we didn't get the Valonqar prophecy in its entirety, we do have some of it.
Yeah, we got an extent
and
of it.
That would be a nice nod.
Yeah. What do you say, John?
Yeah, I think it'll be a younger brother, Tyrion or Jaime, doing it. Arya already killed the Night King. I don't think Arya is going to kill Cersei
Actually,
too.
someone made a
That would
comment
be
about
awesome.
that in the YouTube earlier, and I'm sorry if I missed who had that, but and they were saying that Arya killing Cersei also would be kind of sucky. It would be like,
I think it would be too much. It would be overload.
It's too much. It's definitely too much.
Yeah, and I don't think the tunnels will work a second time now that Cersei knows about the tunnels. So
I don't think
I
Arya
think that could be a trap.
the Battle of King's Landing.
I think Arya is one of the only characters that will survive.
No, the only reason why
I think she'll survive.
It's true, but the reason why I say that is she took a life she wasn't supposed to take. She took the Night King. She wasn't supposed to do that.
Well, I think she was. And
okay,
there's a post that John posted that I don't entirely agree with it. However, there is a video. When we saw we want you want that good. John
can I
into this, and this is going to be the topic of our next, and see if you can come up with a question for the audience to answer live.
So if you go to our page, and if you go to our Facebook page, I saw this on Ice and Firecon actually page, and I had posted. Apparently, if you look at when John is screaming at Viserion, he's yelling "go," and he yells "go" 3 times, and you have to look at the mouthing at what he says. And a lot of people are theorizing that he's telling Arya, go, go, go. Okay. And there's about 47 comments about this. We posted
Yeah,
it.
do
I
you wanna
don't
read
know if
some
you
of
want
them?
me to
Now
read some of them.
I didn't see that. I mean, I
So-
saw him. I thought he just screamed.
You have to really hear, like, you have to try and isolate and hear it, like mute everything. And he does. Yeah. I think he hears go. Now that could just be like but I mean, closed captioning doesn't pick it up, but then closed caption sometimes
Wait,
can
were we
be
talking about this
like
when he's
off,
having the
so-
battle with the
but I'm yelling
dragon?
off.
Yeah, when the dragon got him pinned, and he's
So
trying
you
to
know
get
the
to
scene
Bran,
where
remember?
Right.
And he's blowing the blue fire all over the place, and John's behind that rubble, and he's just getting ready to poke his head up, and Viserion is coming up, just getting ready to creep over, and John stands and turns, and he goes, "Bah!" and he just stands there.
Right.
And then, of course, Arya does the deed, and then the dragon falls apart. Turns into
So
rubble.
the post is
People are saying that he's saying go, go, go. That I guess he sees Arya. The theory is that he's distracting the dragon so that Arya can run, because the dragon is defending the entryway
that's
to
true.
the God's Will.
That's true.
And Arya needs to get there. So the theory is that he's yelling go, go, go as he's distracting the dragon.
Yeah, I think that's a stretch. I think he's just screaming.
But I'm curious, John, what the audience had to say about that in the post.
So Giselle goes, gonna watch again. Andrea goes, I disagree. I think he's roaring at Viserion, kill the boy, wake the dragon. And I think that this portrays this comparison because afterwards the blue flames dies down just before he shatters. Claire goes, see the video at the bottom of it. It does look like it. Marianne goes, does sound like he's yelling go. Closed captioning are always correct. I used it on many shows and I've seen a lot of mistakes, but I would have thought D&D would have mentioned it during their post-episode wrap-up. Rosie goes, Marianne, right? They never bother to clarify any of the ambitious plots. It's just like deal with it or don't. Jordan goes, I hope they do the prequels. What else we have here?
Kyle and Get Vocal says it's interesting. Why would John pop up and yell at Viserion? And I don't know either. I don't know. I don't think he's saying go.
Maybe he feels a new sense of purpose now as a Targaryen.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he's just standing up.
I really think we're drawing straws here. I really do. But I mean, apparently, we've got a lot of mixed comments on Facebook. Some saying no, he was just yelling. Others are saying no, he's screaming. He is definitely saying go. Sarah said she's watched it a couple of times, and she said it could be. It's pretty ambiguous. And then Robert says, I believe Arya. Oh, that was for what we were talking about. He believes Arya's killing of the Night King was done solely on Melisandre's priming with no other help.
Yeah, Melisandre was the MVP of that episode.
Yeah, John's futility is important to the plot and will weigh on his future self-worth evaluation.
Here's a good
Lilith says subtitles caught a fart from Pycelle in season 4. They will definitely have caught a go, go, go.
That's funny.
I just like, I think it's more like giving John a little bit more because everyone's all down on John.
I don't know why people are down on John. I thought he did what he was supposed to do.
MVP was Melisandre. Hero was Arya.
No, dude, the hero was Lyanna.
Lyanna
Mormont sacrificed herself to kill a giant.
A giant.
A White Walker giant.
The Night King. Hold on a second. Before we get in that's a whole nother conversation. Because I want to read what the audience. This is about the audience. Let's see what they say. Let's see. We have Randy says, I took as he was about to die and he was shouting. I haven't gone back to look and listen though. Ricky says, I think he was trying to control the dragon. And James says, I didn't see it. And then of course Shana says, fart, laugh my fucking ass off.
So Mariana,
Agreed, Sam. We do have multiple heroes, and we can ask that question in a second.
Marianne says, if it is that John is saying go, then it explains where Arya jumped from. And then Sarah says it does seem like he sees something. Then you see the Night King walking alone. Then you see the scene where the White Walker's hair moves. I mean, I don't know. The only thing I think of, this is the only thing I saw, and I've watched it 3 times now, right? Because I have to take it in spurts. The only thing I see is the hair move. I finally see the hair move. I saw the hair move. I wasn't paying attention to it before. And then the Night King turns because I still think that Bran gave it away. I'm going to have to go back and watch the Jon thing now.
He did, because when Bran kind of looked to the side almost.
Yeah, he did give it away. I think, you know.
Don't get me started on the Wheel Creeper.
Oh, God, here he goes with the Wheel Creeper.
Well, we did have a good question about Wheel Creeper. And Ricky said,
you're gonna read it?
What? Yeah, I know. What do you think? Well, it's the audience, and I love you guys. Ricky says, what do you think Bran's role will be now? Let's ask the audience. Anybody want to comment on that in the Facebook and the Get Vocal in wherever? I'm curious. What is his role now? Because I think that he's just going to continue to watch and eventually end up in a Weirwood, because right now I think he's pretty fucking useless. Go ahead, John.
So Kyle in Vocals says Arya had to jump from somewhere high, like a roof or of Winterfell. Thus, Jon helped Arya get past
I feel like she
Viserion.
jumped out of the Weirwood tree. And I know that that's me just being a jerk.
Yeah, but the Weirwood tree was behind.
Is behind.
That just put a hole in that theory. Shit.
I don't think she came from a high plateau. Because we see the White Walker's hair brush. She had to have come at it from low, I think.
Here's a good one.
Although I don't know.
Ricky says maybe he's shouting ghost. Laugh out loud. Shayna says, didn't they put the direwolf into the Weirwood because there was only one entrance? I don't remember.
Don't think so.
No, because the direwolf was running towards that first with the Dothraki and with Jorah.
Yeah, Ghost ran toward the battle.
Let's see. Terrence says Jon was desperately trying to get to the Night King. There's no way he noticed Arya and distracted the dragon intentionally. Bran will okay, so we got some answers for the Bran question. Samantha says Bran will merge with the tree. Big E says nothing. Bran will Weirwood and chill at Winterfell. Terrence says all our hope was in him and we felt defeated like he was. Bran will be flying crows and pooping on people, says Randy. Yeah, it's about
the extent of it, I think. Yeah.
Shayna says that Arya had a trampoline. James says Bran is gone. He isn't. I think he's saying he isn't Bran. He said so.
Yeah, he's
Mira said so. Bran, you died in that cave. It's all a ploy to get Bran/Night King alone in Winterfell. No Stark in Winterfell. Okay.
Yeah, we've got Andrea said Bran finds out Tyrion is a Targaryen.
I don't think that's true. A lot of people still believe that Tyrion is a bastard, and I don't think it's true. But we'll see, right? You guys would know better than I would. I don't get theories right.
Okay.
And what does Kyle say?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, John.
Kyle says Bran spies on Cersei.
Yeah, Lilith says he's going to stay in Winterfell when the other guys march south. There always needs to be a Stark in Winterfell. True, Lilith, but remember, he is no longer Brandon Stark. Robert, what if ending the Night King also eliminated the need for Bran to help his powers? Emily says, I'm trying to think of everyone that's still on her list. I was just talking about Arya. They predict they will all die before the season. Sarah says, yeah, was Bran the Night King? Is that where he went? Is that why he came back when they're together? And then Goat says, since the Night King died, why would Three-Eyed Raven live?
Let's see. Let me just read here. I'm gonna answer one of these questions here. The Arya list. Let's see if I can pop this up. If you want to read any more comments,
yeah. Lilith says he is no Stark. True, but Stark blood still runs through his veins. That is a valid point. Andrea says there was more than one Night King, so there could be another. Goat, Tyrion is a Targaryen. Booker show. Oh, it's not. No. Sorry, he says not a Targaryen.
I found an older. Oh, go ahead, John.
I don't think there's more than one Night King. There's always been one. He says it because I think if you go back to the War Council, he always says I think he mentions like the Night Kings always try to get the three-eyed ravens in the past. I think there's always been one. They just never
and I
killed
guess
them the
it's
first
to
time.
eradicate the memory of humanity. Because think of
Yeah.
this is the way I look at Bran, the Wheel Creeper. He's like he's like Google for Westeros, and the Weirwood Network is like the internet, but magical and in Game of Thrones. And that's just how I look.
Yeah,
at
I
it.
think Bran's gonna basically, the tree where they were at in the courtyard, the Weirwood tree. I think he's probably gonna go underneath of it and kind of be like the creepy weird guy that they went to when Bran then took over for the Three-Eyed Raven.
Well, didn't he say to the Three-Eyed Raven? Didn't the Three-Eyed Raven say, "No, you won't be a tree, but you will fly again"? Right. So maybe he doesn't have to merge with the Weirwood Network. Now, real quick, somebody in the chat had mentioned Arya's list. I have Arya's list here, and this is before she had killed any of the people on the list. This is the old list. Okay, so I don't know what the new list is, but this is what I could find quickly. So we have on there the Hound,
which is now off the list.
Meryn Trant, Cersei Lannister, Joffrey, Ilyn Payne,
dead.
Polliver, the Mountain, Rourke, Walder Frey,
dead.
Tywin Lannister,
dead.
Melisandre,
dead.
Beric Dondarrion,
dead.
Thoros of Myr,
dead.
That's the list I found.
So wait, there's only like 2 that are still alive on that list, right? The Hound she took off the list.
As far as we know, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just Cersei and the Mountain.
The only one still alive on that list.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the Mountain's not on here.
The Mountain is on there.
So I have
No.
I thought you said the Mountain.
I meant to say the Hound.
You know what? I don't think Ilyn Payne's dead, is he?
No.
Yeah, we're
he's
not sure. Yeah,
we don't know.
I think the actor had gotten cancer.
Oh,
right? And
that's right. Yeah.
And I think he beat it, but I don't think he ever came back to the show.
So I like to pose a question.
Pose the question.
So this is from another one I posted today. As an article I read said the longest night is the lowest ranked Game of Thrones episode since season 5. So I want to get everyone, especially the community. Do you guys agree with this? It's on our Facebook. Check it out. Do you guys agree with this comment?
Were those people not watching the fucking episode? What the hell?
And let me guess. Their biggest complaint was that it was too dark.
Listen, even though it was dark, I still gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, me too.
Fucking show was awesome.
Even Tara from Ice and FireCon, who is not a show fan. She's definitely she's a book girl. And she gave it a 9 out of 10. And she almost vomited, on me at Ice and FireCon when she said that to me, only because she hates, she doesn't hate, but she doesn't like the show. Tara's awesome, by the way.
I think it's just the fact that it ended so soon. We thought it would going to continue, and it would be like,
I have some comments.
Because the threat was so real, but
disagrees. Terrence says, no, it was beautiful. Samantha says those rankings are crazy. Jaina says, get a better TV. Dexter says, too much butthurt book fanboys.
Yeah, I agree.
Mag H says, not lowest rated. No way.
But here's what I don't understand. How can the book fanboys be butthurt when that book hasn't even fucking come out yet?
Well, wait a second. The Biggie says the butthurt is real out there. Mag H says we have more episodes to see before deciding. James gives it 9.5 out of 10. And then Shayna laughed at it's Shayna. That's awesome. It's not over, says James.
So before I get to Facebook, another post I posted was someone they brightened it up. I don't know if you saw that, Chris. Someone actually brightened everything up. So go check it out if you want to. I mean, I still saw I saw it on my TV. I saw it on iPhone. Yeah. I think when we saw it, Chris, it was on projection, so it was a little bit different. But I think it's not too dark. I think I see everything. I don't know what people are complaining about. I'd say like the only dark part I got was when they first attacked the Unsullied and just the Unsullied.
Don't get too far off topic.
No, but John's right. That first 15 minutes of the show, It was really dark because you just see the Dothraki run, at least on my TV. Now, I did go back and rewatch it on my iPad, and then I watched it on my other TV, and I knew to turn the brightness up a little bit. And even when I turned the brightness up a little bit, and I have an ultra high definition television, and my iPad is, the Retina Super whatever display, even though I turned up, it's still dark. And again, Chris, you and I talked about this, and we talked about it Monday. It was intentional. That first 15 minutes was meant to be that dark.
The whole thing was meant to be dark, and when you turn up the brightness, you see a lot of crap that you don't really
need to see.
It takes away from it, in my opinion. Hold on. I was saying Kayleen because, yay, Kayleen's here.
Yay.
Hate for this episode. This is her comment. Hate for this episode has been pretty extensive. I'm shocked. And hey, everyone. Shayna is laughing at me because I keep saying her name wrong every single time. I am so freaking sorry. I said it 4 different ways. I'm such an asshole. I'm so sorry. Randy B says, I was expecting it to be dark, just like Spots last season. It didn't take away from this episode. It was hard to watch, but you know what? It was meant to be. Mag says they meant the beginning to be scary, suspenseful, just like Jaws. We don't see what we fear. Randy B says the first part was meant to be hard to see. James says on purpose, it gave us a feeling of not knowing what was going on. It gave me the chills. I loved it. I agree. Yes, it was dark. Watching it a second time, it makes sense. Do we have any Facebook comments?
We have quite a few. The Eric G says that we mentioned it before the podcast. The book readers are a bit pissed because all their theories were wrong. Alyssa says, yeah, they said dark and muddy. I mean, it was amazing. People were mad that not enough people died, blah, blah, blah.
Which is funny that people would want more characters to die.
Well, I think we kind of felt that was going to be the case because this was hyped up to be this like epic battle.
So we were prepared. We were prepared for the death. It didn't happen, and it was like, oh, I had to prepare for that.
Yeah,
because I remember we watched it live. Trin had boxes of tissues
ready to go. Yeah,
and she did cry a few times, but not for the reason that people.
Robert says lots of whiners, darkness complaints, just trendy social media piling on negativity, a la Last Jedi. Lilith says, I was hoping to see the gigantic spiders the knights were supposed to ride. Alyssa says, and people were mad about the Night King dying so fast. Andrea says, there was an article about how different the episode looks with brightness on your TV turned up. That's what I'm doing tonight.
I posted.
Someone on Reddit did it. Reddit, stay off Reddit. Those people are crazy. Andre also says, I like the episode dark, but I'm going to try and see it if I missed anything. Early episode darkness set up foreboding dread brilliantly. And then we've got Annabelle. And I love your name, Annabelle. I made a conscious decision going into this season with a very open mind. I mean, look, the season is all we have left. I made a choice to embrace whatever direction the showrunners decided to go with it. I want to walk away with good thoughts. I was surprised with some choices, but still thoroughly enjoyed it. So they're going based on you asking Chris how they like the episode. And then Chris, Andrea asks you a question.
Yay, I'm ready.
Chris, did you already discuss my Bravosian Golden Company thought I shared on the Beats It page? If so, I'll go back and listen, of course.
Yes, I think we did.
We did, Andrea. We did.
Oh, yeah, Andrea, yes.
Yeah, we did.
Andrea, yes, we did. We talked about that. I'm sorry you weren't here. I'm sorry. I didn't realize you weren't here.
John, we have anything and get vocal?
Yes, by the way. So Kyle goes, this is going back to Brad. Maybe something with the Isle of Faces. They were children of the Forest there at some time. That's pretty damn close to King's Landing and Aaron What if Brad goes there at some point in the final season? And then back to the season, the episode. It's sad that the episode was ranked second to worst in reviews. I gave it 10 out of 10. Just to go back to second, really short. The only scene that I thought was dark was them attacking the Unsullied. I thought the Brienne part I can see perfectly. The Torment fight I could see perfectly. It's just when the initial Unsullied.
Well, yeah, but Eric on Facebook,
Eric
G said he did have trouble with the dragon fight. He couldn't really see that very well either, and I think that was a combination of the blizzard, there was a lot going on, and I agree with Eric G
Yeah.
on that one. That one was a difficult one to watch. It was hard to keep up with what everything was happening.
Shayna says, we were prepared for the red wedding and got the purple. That's really funny. I think that
That's not wrong.
I don't think it was. I still can't believe that they're rating it like that. It just
That's
doesn't make
disheartening.
sense.
I think that is the best episode of Game of Thrones.
And now, let me just lay out the scene here. So we're in a room with about 100 people on a big screen, and if you listen to the podcast, I mentioned this a million times, but I repeat myself. And I'm sitting next to John. He's on my left. We got our friend Justin right there. History of Westeros is in there. I don't know if Davos Fingers had left at that point. I think they were. I think Scott left, and what's his name left. Radio Westeros is in there. A whole bunch of podcasters, a whole bunch of fans, cosplayers. They were all in there. There's about 100 of us, and we're watching it. That episode was either really, really awesome because the audience made it awesome because they were screaming at the right times and cheering at the right times, or it was because it was an awesome episode, maybe a combination of the two. All I know is when I left that room and I ran into another room to set up a podcast that I lost. I'm so sorry, guys. My heart was racing. My adrenaline was up. I was all over the place. It was an incredible episode. And yeah, it was kind of dark, but I think that's like you guys have mentioned, and even you guys in the chat have mentioned, it was supposed to be. It was a horror. This is a big dukaroo between life and death. It was supposed to be dark and hard to see, and what the hell's going on, and dragons running into each other and all kinds of chaos, and I think they did a good job there. Could it have been a little bit brighter in some spots? Sure, it could. Did it work? I think so, and I still can't believe it was ranked so low.
YouTube reaction to the episode, because there's this one video where I don't know if it's a bar, but there's a bunch of people watching and they go crazy when Arya stabs him. Like they're cheering. So
Chris, real quick, Annabelle wants to
Right.
know where you're getting the rating from.
Where was that rating from, John? What website?
It's a wiki. Hold on, give me 1 second here. I posted the article on our page, but I think it's like wiki, Game of Thrones wiki. Give me 1 second. I got to find it. But yeah, check out YouTube, type in reaction to the episode, and you'll see that people go, because they had like viewing parties and a lot of people, and they're going crazy, man. Like people are cheering. Like you see them, they're like this, they're like all like anticipation, like they're all like silent, and then all of a sudden when Arya jumps out, they're going crazy, and then when she stabs him, they're like, oh, they're all
I'm
yelling.
going to find I have audio that I haven't played on any podcast yet of the reaction of the audience live.
Yeah, sweet.
If you ever get a chance to watch it with a group, I'm telling you, Julie, can you have the con here while I find this piece here?
Sure, absolutely. So John, Andrea asked, and we lightly touched on it, but she wants to know what our thoughts are if Dorne maybe surprises and joins the fight against Cersei from the south. Now, we kind of touched on this a little bit. Do they have enough time to send a Raven down to Dorne to let them know, hey, we survived the Night King. He's dead. We're ready to go and march on King's Landing. If you bend the knee to Dany, she will, I mean, I don't know if are they gonna have enough time to even attempt that.
So my heart says yes, because we've seen every army of every region. We've seen the Stark army, we've seen the Vale, we've seen Lannisters, Baratheons, Unsullied, the Dothraki. We've seen them all. We've never seen the Martell army. But consider how long it took to set up. It took Sansa like writing one letter to get the Vale to come. Right? It takes 2 seconds for a letter to be sent, or maybe I could see it. I just don't know if you're going to introduce the Martells again now. There is no who's leading the first of all. The question I have is who would lead the army?
That would be a question for Andrea.
Because right now in the show, the Sand Sticks are dead. Illyria, who was the power,
Right.
because she killed Doran is locked up. So right now,
Now
there
Robert
isn't an
Martin is
army
saying that
in the Martell.
Varys should have contacts still in Dorne, and he should. He very well should. You're right. But the Martells, they're gone. So I think you're right on that one, John. But I don't know. What's up, Chris?
Let's see. Shayna says, I listen to a lot of podcasts and it's so surreal because everyone is showing up everywhere else. It wasn't like the last season. It's super awesome. Totally agree. Terrence says, Dorne is completely done in the show. Shayna says, I think we're all pretending Dorne never happened.
That's what I'm saying.
Shayna says, but Bronn totally goes and take over.
Which is one of my favorite areas when we were in Dorne. I love that.
Darkstar, you just need to comment and get vocal. Kyle says Darkstar leads the army.
Stephen Bagg says if they send the Flash, aka Gendry, they'll have time.
Oh, right. He's like
I'm done.
He's like Forrest Gendry.
I'm done.
He's like Forrest Gendry.
I'm gonna drink for Gendry. We haven't done that in a while. I'm drinking for Gendry.
We haven't played. We used to play a drinking game for Gendry. So every time
he
we
was
said
still
Gendry,
rowing that damn boat.
Yeah, I think that the next time everyone watches the next episode, if we see Bran and he looks creepy, you need to drink.
Okay, I have okay. So here's a question: is anybody getting any Bow Chicka Wow Wow on in the next episode?
In the next episode, absolutely. Okay. I bet you Cersei is going to take the elephant. The elephant tree, or should I say the serpent? Hold on.
Double stick.
Okay, I'm going to play you guys a little clip here, and I hope this doesn't get us taken off of YouTube. This is the intro, and I know we're kind of bouncing around. This is the intro to the Game of Thrones song with 100 people behind it, and I hope this comes out okay. Let's see if this works. Does that sound okay? You guys hear the people screaming? And I wanted to see if you can hear the people humming. Because I don't know if you remember this, John, because you were pretty wasted.
I do. I remember everything, Chris.
Yo, that's lit.
Like,
that's awesome.
So people, well, that's only, I'm going to get some of the.
They also yelled. So keep in mind, they yelled like when Melisandre lit the swords, we're all cheering. When Lyanna ran towards the giant, we were cheering. They cheered like for so many. Even when Melisandre goes to Arya, what do we say to God? That I grabbed Chris.
I heard
and
you did a lot.
Too.
I heard you
and
did
then
a
when
lot.
Arya
John.
I'm just glad he didn't puke on me.
That's
all right,
hysterical.
Keep an eye on real quick in the YouTube, and then I'm going to mute my mic, Julie, for a second.
Yeah, sure.
YouTube says Forrest Gendry. Shayna laughs because Forrest Gendry. Yeah, that's a good one. Sometimes I do. Good
I was running.
Vicky says Gendry will get Storm's End. Terrence says Brienne and Tormund. Let's see.
No.
James says Cersei is going to have to give it up to Euron. Oh yeah, she's definitely again. Biggie says nothing like a good fight before a good fuck. Robert says I think Gendry and Arya get it in again.
I do too.
I don't know. I think that Arya and one of okay, so you guys don't. I had a co-host on the episode I did right after Ice and Fire Cons, and I had this person named Nami. Nami's awesome. She's a cosplayer. She was totally cool. We were talking about it, and she said that Arya looks like somebody that just had sex and then rolls over and realizes that they're gay, that she wants to be with a woman instead of a man. She had that look on her face. And I thought, well, yeah, I can kind of see that. So if they get it on again, that's great. If not, well, I'm okay with that.
Well, speaking from experience, not really. I don't think, I mean, it's a valid point, but it's the Game of Thrones. You can pretty much do both, and it's not a big deal. I mean, like, so I can't really, I'm gonna abstain from answering that question. Cold star and all.
Kyle goes, the episode was closest to hell on earth, and that's a compliment. He goes, Darkstar will lead, and We already mentioned that. And he says, sorry, Arya will hit a home run again.
Andrea says that she was in the trailer. She kisses Gendry.
Yeah, he says that too. Yeah.
So
he kisses her in the trailer.
But for me and John, the bar that you were talking about on YouTube, Robert said it, and I believe Andrea also said it. It's called the Burlington Bar. So if anybody wants to look it up, that's what it is on YouTube. It's the Burlington Bar, Game of Thrones. But John, Lilith has just asked the question: do you think Euron has the dragon binder?
No. I think that there had to be foreshadowing for that. Either him telling like Yara when he's locked up, I have something, or there has to. You can't just automatically pull out the one weapon that can turn a dragon. I'm sorry, that's how foreshadowing. That's like saying all of a sudden, oh, here's Dark Sister, the Valerian steel sword of the Targaryens. You can't just. You have to foreshadow something because then fans don't. People don't understand.
Okay, so Chris, I got the audio here, but real quick, Robert says House Baratheon. Robert says I say Gendry sits on the Iron Throne.
King blood.
Shayna says I think she was thinking about dying the next day, talking about Arya rolling over and my comment earlier about Arya rolling over. James says she's already said being a wife and having kids is for Sansa, not her. Randy says, I thought she was thinking about her potential death now that the sex is checked off of her list.
Doesn't mean
Shayna says you don't have to want kids to be straight. That's true. James says the Stark children's fate is closely tied to the dire wolves. Arya's dire wolf has a massive man-eating pack. All right, so let me just play this audio real quick because I got the audio. This is the scene where from season 8, episode 3, where Melisandre shows up. And she's revealed. Okay. And this is the audience reaction. Here it is.
I can hear John. Yes.
That's me.
And
fucking drunk as shit.
And from there, it just got louder and louder. Like when she lit the Aurochs on fire, people were going absolutely nuts. And then at the end when Arya killed the knight, I mean, it was screaming so loud that I can't play that audio because it would just blow everyone's eardrums out. It was incredible. That's all I'm saying.
Come on, play it.
A part of me now wants to find a viewing party to watch, because I know I didn't do it in the past because we were recording Sunday night right after. But now that we're not recording, I was going to getting back to what you were talking about, Julie, earlier. What people don't realize is you can't just introduce something. Like, you have to tailor more to the show audience. You can't just introduce something and tell the show audience, we would know what Dragonbinder is. We would know Dark Sister, but the casual fan would not know. So you have to kind
Eric
of do
G brought up a good point,
and
and John, I can't remember, but is that the horn that Sam found back a few seasons ago? That's what I think. I thought it was the other one. Yeah,
that's the other horn, and I think that was just a nod at the. I think that was just one of those nods that they were throwing at the book.
But I just want to say
that sometimes
that Arya not wanting to be a wife and pregnant, and that was Sansa's thing. I'm just going to say this, and I already said it over here in Facebook. Arya can not want to be a wife and have babies and still get her whistle wet. You feel what I'm saying?
I don't know if I should. I mean, me and Andrea talked about this after the show, and I kind of agree with what she says. She thinks Arya and Jon are going to
I don't know why she's doing that. It's just...
I know.
Stop. No, that's weird. It's weird. You know why it's weird? Here's why it's weird. Because he has grown up. They both have grown up thinking that their brother and sister, even though he was a bastard, that's like me and my brother. That's weird. Like, ew. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I think my brother is a handsome looking gentleman. And he runs a terrific podcast network here at Total Nerd Takeover Studios. But I'm not going to make out with him. You know what I'm saying? That's weird. At least with Danny and John, they didn't know they were related. They were just falling in love and doing what was necessary to save the realm. Do you know what I mean? So it's not as awkward, you know?
Well, not necessarily. Like, I don't think they necessarily have to hook up, but I don't know. It's weird. Okay, I think
I
Chris
got
has
the
something
audio,
here.
and I just have to do this. Real quick, let me just read a couple of things in the YouTube because I'm losing. I'm getting behind. I'm so sorry, guys. Let's see the Stark show. Okay, so Tyrion sits the Iron Throne from James. Robert says the Wheel Creeper. I like that. See, I like you guys are using that. I started a trend.
Oh God, why do you do
I'm
this?
So proud of myself.
Don't.
Gold star, Robert. Gold star. The Wheel Creeper.
I'm gonna get him a T-shirt.
The Wheel Creeper should have died already. Terrence says, question: Arya didn't leave the Faceless Men on good terms. They may return to kill her. What if they killed one of the good guys during the battle and are using their face? Oh, God, John.
I think she left on good terms. She was smiling when she left. If you go back to that, he gave the waif's head or something or whatever? Or he was smiling. I think he was smiling. I don't think she left on bad terms. I think there's more. Why would Melisandre say that if not like? I think there's more. I think Melisandre knows. I just don't think it was bad terms because she knew exactly.
Yeah,
what
the
to
only
say
thing
to
I could
Arya.
think of with Arya, like there has been some speculation. There was a couple of Reddit posts and some Tumblr things that I was reading that they still think that Arya is going to kill Cersei. And I think the only way that would have made sense is if Jaime had died in the Battle of Winterfell so that Arya could take his face. That's the only way it would have worked. Since Jaime is not dead, I don't think so. But we all know Jaqen Hagar is coming back, so I don't know.
Well, we think.
Well, I've heard a lot of rumors that it is.
So,
Alyssa, don't feed his ego with the
I don't know
hashtag
who
Wheel
mentioned
Creeper.
this,
Don't
but
do that.
Yes,
I can't
do
stop.
that. Any other?
So they mentioned.
John,
Sorry, they mentioned a lot about how you have to go back to season 1 for this season. Like there's a lot of stuff from season 1. I still think, and I think I mentioned this on Monday's episode. I think Jaime will be the one to kill Cersei in reminiscence to how he killed the Mad King. I think Cersei is going to tell Jaime, I'm a plan, and Jamie's going to realize this will kill a lot of people, and I think he's going to.
It's the only way Jaime is free.
And then I think
here's why you're wrong. Jaime's child is in her.
We think that's not totally confirmed. She could have just said that to get
She's
him.
Not drinking wine. She is not drinking
Yes, she
any
did.
wine.
She drank
No, she did.
episode.
She was
did not
drinking
drink
wine
it.
with
She
Euron.
did not take one sip. Go back and watch it.
Dude, don't even.
Not one sip.
I gotta go
Real
back
quick.
now.
Christopher.
Kyle says,
Go ahead.
what?
No, go ahead.
Anyway, Kyle says, I just have a bad taste in my mouth with Euron's cockiness. And so did Cersei.
I don't know if she
Did you guys
definitely
get the joke.
I-
Never mind. I'm going to play this real quick before.
Go ahead.
Because I'm going to play this. So this is the last. Well, this is the end. This is when Arya kills the killing blow to the Night King. All right, and I hope this comes through okay. If not, well, send your hate mail to John because I'm not reading it. Here it comes.
Not today.
Wow.
Standing.
Now you tell me that episode was terrible. Over 100 people
It's not.
who love the books, because this con is mostly the Ice and Fire con is mostly about the books. They love the books way more than the show, and they were fucking going nuts. And you heard them,
epic.
you heard that pause right there. They're cheering because Arya just jumps out. The Night King grabs her, and then the cheers really good, like oh shit. And then she does the deed and kills him, and then the cheers go fucking crazy again. That was incredible. I'm
It's
sorry. It was
like-
an awesome
That's
episode.
fucking awesome.
I had to play that audio for you guys.
Next,
So
what sucks too is the show's ending. So next year we're probably not going to get that type of cheering because it'll just be a regular rewatch of episodes. But that cheering made like that. It was so amazing. Like, oh man, like I recommend people go to this con.
Intense.
It is
That's
so
fucking
fun.
intense.
Game of Thrones musical, people. Like
Yeah.
that's just a little bit of it. Like when you watch these guys put on the Game of Thrones musical, and it's freaking fun as hell. And then there's a costume parade and performances where you had one guy was reenacting Euron's speech. I mean, not Euron, Victorian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it was Victorian speech. He was reenacting that, and like Davos from Davos, Scott from Davos Fingers, he was reenacting Davos, Stannis, and Melisandre's speech, and it's just, I mean, people, guys, it's so amazing, and the panels are amazing. Chris watched that panel with what's her? I can't remember
James
her name
says,
now.
"Thanks for setting the record
on her.
straight, Chris. You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
Record straight for what?
Love this because the show was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Because that's why I played the audio.
It
I
is.
wanted to play
I
that
love
for
the
everyone to hear that.
Yeah, that's
also
awesome.
I just wanted to mention that if you're, and I know we're not trying to do a commercial for Ice and FireCon, although we are basically.
You guys had fun. You should talk about it.
We did, and also if you guys want to hear, we did a meetup, a VIP meetup, so they could, the audience could meet their favorite podcasters or whatever, and we recorded that. It's episode 209 if you want to go back and hear it. But the cool thing about this convention is you can go there even if you're not like I read the books. I read them 4 times. I don't subscribe to all the theories. I don't wear a tinfoil hat. You guys listen to the podcast know that I don't know the Game of Thrones book stuff as good as my co-host and never as good as Andrea.
Yeah, no.
But I enjoy it nonetheless. And the show is more my bag. That being said, if you're like me and you go to this con, no one fucks with you. No one calls you a piece of shit like some of the feedback we get on iTunes or some of the emails. They just accept you and they have a good time. It's about having a good time. And that's what the podcast should be. And that's what the videos should be in our community. And I feel like it is that here at Behind the Iron Throne.
Dude, I definitely want to go next year. That sounds like a lot of fun.
You got to come. Julie, they did a panel on cinematic influences in Game of Thrones, and I didn't put this two together. The whole Cersei blowing up the sept is Godfather baptism scene.
Oh wow!
When the dragon and the Thraki are attacking the Lannisters, it's reminiscent to the, I don't know if anyone's watched Apocalypse Now, but the helicopters coming in, the sword in when Tywin is melting down ice. It's a reminiscence to Conan the Barbarian, when they're making the sword in the first Conan movie when he's making the sword. Like it's just, not only that, it's not only that it's cinematic.
Of course,
if you watch Conan, right, Julie? The first Conan.
Have you met my brother? I watched all that crap.
Camera angle. So the camera angle of the sword being made in Conan is reminiscent to the light of the two swords being made. The 2 Valyrian steel swords
John,
being
were
made
you there?
from ice.
I don't think you were there. Justin, our roommate, was there from the J Crew. There was a panel on tinfoil and theory craft. You were there for that?
Yes, I was there.
And, I forget who the gentlemen were. Yeah. I really wish I would have remembered, but they did an amazing job explaining that. And there's something for everybody. Point is, you got to go. And this community is awesome, but being able to meet each other would be even more awesome.
You got to take a picture with Wolf.
Chris, Emily wants to know what other Game of Thrones podcasters were at the con.
Yeah, they were all, well,
everyone.
Let's see.
Radio Westeros, History of Westeros, Podcast Ice and Fire, LNL or something.
Yeah, Lucifer meets Light, I think it was.
Light. Davos Fingers podcast. Pretty much almost all of the podcasts were represented there. Ours,
so check this out, everybody. Next year, I will be there. So come to the con.
Yes.
I will autograph boobs if I have to, because I'm just cool like that. That's not awkward, right? I'm really lonely. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Are you gonna wear a star shirt?
Lucifer meets Lightbringer was there.
Let's
also.
see how the season ends, John.
And they do with the mythical astronomy of Ice and Fire. They were live there also. That's awesome. I did a panel. Very, very intelligent. I mean, some of those podcasters, now we do an amazing show, and I think we do. Don't ask people on iTunes. I think we do an amazing show, and I think we give it everything that we have, and we fuck up like everybody else who are human. But some of these other guys are phenomenal, and I definitely recommend that you don't just listen to our podcast. I hope you listen to everyone's podcast.
Yeah, it's nice to be in this community.
Yeah,
it's great that you guys all got to like meet each other, all the other podcasters, and talk to each other and get this camaraderie. Because listen, we love the Game of Thrones, we love the books. We're not trying to compete with anybody else. We're just trying to give you our take on it, which is I think awesome.
Yeah, Lucifer means Lightbringer. They were awesome. We only have 5 minutes left, and we got to shut.
Steven just asked if I'll autograph man boobs. Yes, I will.
Nice.
Yes, I will.
That's awesome. Lady Gwen from Radio Westeros was actually on my show that I recorded there, and it got ruined. So, in history, Westeros, Aziz, and Ashaya, awesome people. I got to dance next to Aziz. He was absolutely shit-faced hammered, and we were both wearing Lannister shirts. We were both doing the cherry pick dance. Okay. Also, real quick, because we're almost out of time, guys, I got to get all this stuff in. And Sean, a lot of great people that we met there. I'm telling you, you got to go. Why am I drawing a blank on Chloe's podcast, John? The drunk.
I can't remember her podcast, but
that's terrible because Chloe's awesome. I want to get him on the podcast. Anyway, we actually have plans to get Bald Move guys on this podcast because they reached out to us and want to have.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that.
I'm going to get Lady Gwen back on because I lost her recording. She's awesome. I want to get History of Westeros back on here. We had him on before. I want to get Dabo's Fingers, especially. I got to talking with Scott. Scott's freaking awesome. There was just a lot of great people. We're going to network and keep this thing going. But we're actually Bald Move actually emailed us, so we're going to try to get them on with us for an episode. Kyle's saying that best Game of Thrones podcast #BeatIt.
Thank you, Kyle.
That's what I'm talking about. So real quick, I want to say
you're the best, Kyle.
You're the best
for
sure.
Kyle.
You guys, all the audience have been awesome. Thank you guys so much. Podcast Winterfell, absolutely. Julie, thank you for being on the show. Where can people find you?
You can grab me on Twitter at Julie Gray 22. That's my personal Twitter. On the BTIT community. I'm always around. You could just chat with me.
Yeah, awesome.
Sign in man boobs.
So James is saying Lady Gwen and Yolkboy are really good researchers. They are.
Yeah, they are.
And Yolkboy's cool. I got to meet him as well. Joffrey and the Joffrey of podcasts. I don't know if you're making a reference to podcast Winterfell, or am I getting something confused there? John, thank you for being on the show. Matt is back with his Cliff Notes. Awesome. John, thank you for being on the show, pal.
Thank you for letting me be on. I love an episode like this where we get to hear from the fans, because you guys are the reason we do this. You're the best. I think we have one of the best Game of Thrones communities out there. So you guys are the best. So keep it up. Keep reacting to my posts on the Facebook, and awesome. I can't wait for Sunday's
clams
episode.
And cockles. I think they were there also.
Cockles. That's a funny
some
word.
Some of the people we met, we were totally trashed. John, be quick, because I only have a few minutes.
No, I'll just say pretty much almost every podcast was there. So much fun, guys. Check out my pictures. It's going to be so much fun.
Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. If you want to follow me on social media, it's Chris, CHRIS, the number 7, Gray, GRAY. It's Chris J Gray, the number 7. And that's on Snapchat, YouTube, or Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. That's everywhere. Twitter, I don't usually do Twitter too much because I'm not really a big fan of Twitter. But if you want to find me on social media, hit me up at Chris J Gray 7. If not, the links are in the show notes if you forget. I want to thank everyone that watched this live on BehindTheIronThrone.tv, our YouTube channel, over at Facebook.com/Behind the Iron Throne. Also at GetVokl.com. We would not have a show without you guys. And thank you for being patient with our podcast downloading really slow. We're trying to fix it. There's not much I can do except for apologize. We love you guys immensely, and we try to do the best we can for you guys. So we'll see you next week. Let's see. The next episode is going to be May 2nd, 2019, unless I do a bonus episode. I'm sorry, May 6th. May 6th is the next episode, and we're going to do probably a bunch throughout the week. Make sure you subscribe to us so you don't miss our shows. We're doing a bunch more episodes every single week. as much as we can. So we'll see you guys next time for another episode of Behind the Iron Throne. Woo!
Beat it for life.
Yeah,